All right, here we are in the third video for lesson 19. Congratulations. And on page 178, we're working on number 4, 6 and 3/10 times 4 and 2/10. And you need to do it by units, right? 63 tenths times 42 tenths. Yeah, do it by units, multiply it, and check it using fractions. Do those things because I will be checking when you come for your mastery check. And put the answer into Edpuzzle. Put your answer into Edpuzzle. Okay, awesome. And then let's go on to number 5. All right, here's number 5. 7 and 26 hundredths times 1 and 5/10. And we're going to work on this one together. So we're going to do it by unit form. Then we're going to put it in standard form. And then we're going to check it by fractions. Okay, so let's get a blue pen this time. 7 and 26 hundredths. Hundredths is our smallest digit there, right? Our lowest place value. So we're going to say 726 hundredths times 1 and 5/10. Tenths is our smallest number, so we're going to go with 15 tenths. Now you see how we can line those up. We don't have to worry about our decimal place. We just line them up just like how we would multiply whole numbers, right, that we learned earlier this year. So make sure that you have them lined up so when you multiply, it'll come out correctly. So 5 times 6 is 30. Please follow along with me and write it in your book. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 3 is 13. Put down the 3 and carry the 1. 5 times 7 is 35 plus 1 is 36. And then we're moving over to the tens. So we got to put our magic 0 here. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. And 1 times 7 is 7. All right, and then we're going to add those together. 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 3 is 9. 6 plus 2 is 8. And 3 plus 7 is 10. And we don't need to carry anything because that is our last number. So we have 10,890 what? What is our unit here? Hundreds times tens, right? That would be thousandths. All right, and then we're going to write it in standard form. So I'm just going to write the number 10890. And now this is the thousands place, right? So I have to think thousands, hundreds, tenths, decimal. All right, very important to know those place values. So I have 10 and 890 thousandths. All right, now I want to check it using multiplication using the decimal because I want to show you something very important. So follow along and listen carefully. 7 and 26 hundredths times 1 and 5/10. And I don't have to line up the decimals because I'm multiplying, right? So I can kind of ignore the decimals until I get to my answer. And I'm just going to put the numbers in here just to save time because we already multiplied it right over here. Yeah, so I'm just copying those numbers over. Okay, so if you did multiply it with the decimals, which you could do, but we're looking at unit form as a way to help us out with that. But let's just look at this. Then we add them together. Okay, now remember what I told you about counting the number of decimals to the number of places to the right of the decimal. Here you can see we have 2, right? Let me just write a 2 over here. And here you can see we have 1, right? So all together that's 3 places. So 1, 2, 3, and then the decimal. So make sure that we have 3 places to the right of the decimal. Now, where this could get tricky is if you wrote your answer as 10 and 89 hundredths and you dropped off the 0 because you don't really need it there, right? And then put your decimal 3 places over, right? So you want to make sure that you're paying attention and putting your decimal in the right place. That's why we're working so hard on understanding place value, so that we would know, well, 7 times 1, it's going to be a lot closer to 10 than to 108, right? And so we're thinking about 7 as our whole number and 1 or 2, right? Because 1 and 5/10 is a little bit closer to 2. So that would be between 7 and 14, not 108. Okay, awesome job. And now we have one more to do before we're done with this. Oh, I don't know why I thought it was just going to erase on its own. There we go. Okay, and we have a word problem. Let's find our word problem here. There we go. There's our word problem. Sasha buys 5 5/10 yards of fabric. Okay, so each yard costs $6.44. She pays with $40. How much change should Sasha get? So let's see if we can do a little drawing for this. A tape diagram, right? Let's see. All right, there we go. Sorry. Oh, I didn't mean to erase it. Well, that was not very helpful. Okay. There's our tape diagram. And here's our pen. And she paid with $40, but she's going to get some money back, right? So there's our $40. And she buys 5.5 yards. I wanted to draw this tape diagram because it's kind of interesting. Yeah, 5.5 yards. And each one of those yards costs $6.44. Okay, so each one is $6.44. Okay, and there's 5.5, and then this is the question mark, because this is the amount of money that she paid extra that she's going to get back, right? Because she only had like 2 20s. Okay, so we're going to have to figure out how much her fabric cost her, right? So we're going to have to do 5 5/10, because that's how many yards she bought, times $6.44, because that's how much each yard is, right? So maybe you're thinking about 6 times 5, right? Which would be 30. And then don't forget you have to distribute the 5 to each part. But since we're studying decimals times decimals, we're going to do it like the way we've been working on. But it's good to have an estimate ahead of time, right? So 6 times 5 or 6 times 6, somewhere between 30 and 36, which would be good because she paid $40. So 644 hundredths, right? 644 hundredths times 5, or 55 tenths. Okay, and then hundredths times tenths, our answer is going to be in thousandths, right? Okay, so that should be interesting because money doesn't go to thousandths. Okay, 5 times 4 is 20, and 5 times 4 is 20, plus 2 is 22. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 2 is 32. Please make sure you're writing this down. Number 6, I think that's on page 178 or maybe 179. Okay, then magic 0. And 5 times 4 again is 20. And 5 times 4 again, plus 2 is 22. And 5 times 6 is 32. Okay, they're going to be roughly the same because they're both 5, right? Then we add them up. 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 3 plus 2 is 5. And 3. So we have 35,420, right? And that is in thousands. So let's write the number out. 3, 5, 4, 2, 0. And this is the thousands place, hundreds place, tens place, 35 and for $35.42, right? We don't have to worry about the 0, but we did have to worry about it for placing our decimal point, right? Okay, very good. So $35.42, but we're not done yet because she gave them $40, and it cost $35.42. Okay, so now we have to subtract, and we're going to subtract across zeros. So pay close attention if you're struggling with subtraction, because here in our hundredths place, we have 0 and we're subtracting 2. So we have to make it to a 10. All right, so 10 minus 2 is 8. Now this one is not yet a 10, so let's make it a 10. And we've already borrowed 1 from it, so that makes it a 9. Where I can write a 9. There we go. 9 minus 4 is 5. Okay, and when we're adding and subtracting, our decimal stays in the place, just like all the other numbers stay in the place. Now, this one needs to become a 10 and borrow from here. So now this one is also a 9 because we already borrowed across. 9 minus 5 is 4. And this was a 4, but we took 1 away to use it, and now it's a 3, and 3 minus 3 is nothing. So she gets $4.58 change. That's what would fit in here. And of course, you need to write a sentence. Sasha will get $4.58 in change. All right. Thanks very much. Let's watch the end of our joke. What did the egg say to the doctor? Oops. You crack me up. All right. Thanks, guys. Please do your work. Thanks for your hard work.